And we're off. Good morning. Welcome to today's Market SITREP. I'm Matt Buckley, call sign Whiz with Top Gun Options and earnings season. We're out of the gate. Alcoa, Cummins, Costco, Yum all reported yesterday. Kind of a mixed bag. If we look at Alcoa and Cummins, not necessarily the best of news. They're good indicators of global growth or lack thereof, right? Cummins, big engine maker, parts, all sorts of stuff like that. Not doing so hot, and they're actually getting rid of 1,500 jobs. Same thing with Alcoa, not necessarily too hot with earnings, but Costco and Yum, not so bad. And Yum saying, hey, we're holding our own in China. Does that really mean anything? You know, if materials are slowing down like in Alcoa, Cummins, and people are still eating Kentucky Fried Chicken in China, like I said, they held their own, not necessarily not going to cover off the ball overseas in China. So we're seeing kind of a lukewarm start to earnings, which is not necessarily a good thing. What else do we have on our radar? Like I said, we had Costco. Walmart's having a investor kind of annual meeting for the investment community this morning, and that's going to be interesting to listen to there. FedEx is also having a meeting today. FedEx corporate investors and lenders meeting. That's going to be interesting as well. And like I said, all these conference calls are you can listen to. This is earnings.com, great website. Also, whispernumbers.com is a great website to check out as well to really see what the street is thinking we're going to see as far as earnings. On the financial radar today, wholesale inventories, 10-year bond auction, yawn. Beige book. That's going to be interesting to see. 2 p.m. today. What exactly was going on behind closed doors at the Fed when they discussed QE3 Infinity? As we know, a lot of these FOMC members in the past month have been doing the cover your ass tour out in public. Well, I voted doing the carry. I voted before I voted against it type of thing. So it's funny, a lot of Fed hawks are starting to appear because they know QE3 Infinity is going to work. And if you're sitting there going, well, Whiz, jobs went down 7.8% last week. It is working. Sold. If you believe those numbers, you also believe that the attacks in Benghazi were the result of a video and a spontaneous gathering of mad folks, which actually didn't happen. If you take a look at what's on the news today, of course, they're not talking about it in the mainstream media, but the State Department has finally come out with a 180-degree version of what happened in Benghazi. I personally expect Ambassador Rice's resignation by 10 a.m. this morning, and I also expect the president and his cronies to apologize to Mitt Romney, but I'm going to start holding my breath right now, and hopefully by the end of this video I'll pass out and my head will hit the table. Just an absolute embarrassment to our nation. Things are going great in the model portfolio. Market's probably going to open a little bit lower today, but yesterday we had a nice $4,000 or $5,000 gain in the model portfolios on about $50,000 worth of haircut. Have some great positions in volatility that were doing great yesterday, and that's starting to see the VIX come alive a little bit, right? Starting to see a heartbeat return to the market. A nice 6.5% gain yesterday, or spike in the VIX, which is a good thing. We also talked yesterday in our live trade brief yesterday morning about one of the bright spots in the world. Yesterday, or kind of a day and a half before Tokyo time, the IMF came out with their report on global growth, and it's just an absolute gloomy forecast. And make sure you watch yesterday's SITREP to talk about why I think it's not even going to come close to being true. But they identified two bright spots in the world. They identified the UK and Brazil as the only countries that are going to see potential moderate growth in the coming year or two. Why? Well, I'll leave the UK alone, but we're looking at getting long the Brazil ETF because the IMF, first of all, singled that out as a bright spot, and I've been traveling to Brazil a lot lately, but check this out. Strategically, Brazil's getting what? The World Cup and also the Olympics. when I was down in Brazil about a month ago, driving outside of Sao Paulo, the highways that they're building, the infrastructure, it looks like mini U.S. And it's looking for some explosive growth. So we had a great discussion yesterday about the iShares bullish ETF there. I believe it's what is that, EWM? Let me take a look at. We were taking a look at a nice long options play on it yesterday, a diagonal where we buy some deep in the money calls and we're selling the front month. EWZ, Echo Whiskey Zulu. We're looking at a call diagonal in Echo Whiskey Zulu, buying deep in the money. 42 calls and selling front month 55 calls to help finance that. That's known as a diagonal, and we talked about that yesterday. So, folks, good stuff going on here at Top Gun Options in our primary model portfolio, and we're actually doing. I'm going to do 2 live trading sessions this coming Friday, 9 and I believe high noon. And I'm going to take a look at earnings this week and kind of what the forecast is for earnings going forward. Because as we talked about yesterday in our SITREP, everybody's come out and lowered the net, right? And now we're starting to see folks report like, oh, we predicted horrible, but it's only horrendous. So again, the market always plays this game, folks. Apple's notorious for doing it: under report and over deliver, and then the stock goes up, right? So Q3 earnings might be a little bit of a head fake, and as retail traders and investors, I know that hurts sometimes because you've heard all the 500-pound heads say, oh, our Q3 earnings are going to be horrible, 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 and then all of a sudden they come out and they're actually not that bad. And then you're standing there, rubbing your face from getting smacked as the market rallies, right? Q4 earnings are really going to be the big issue coming up on our radar, obviously along with the election. It's going to get a lot more volatile here in the coming month, and obviously into the fiscal cliff. If you tuned into the debate last week, hopefully you did, neither one of those two gentlemen mentioned 2 things: a date, January 1st, or the words fiscal cliff, taxmageddon, whatever the hell you want to call it. Neither of them address that. So if you think our clown car in D.C. is going to get back as a lame duck Congress on November 4th, or they might take a vacation, not sure, and in 5 weeks settle 5 to 6 of our most pressing issues our nation has ever faced fiscally, you also believe last week's unemployment numbers. And I have a bridge to sell you. So, folks, got to get going. Got to trade here, excuse me. So hopefully I'll see a bunch of you Friday, and you can identify 2 potential actionable trades that I'm going to add to our primary model portfolio here at Top Gun Options. All right, happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and I'll see you on tomorrow's SITREP.